Hello, welcome to my video about how to get baby into a good position whenever you are in that third trimester. Hi, my name is Oriana. I'm a pelvic health physical therapist assistant. I am currently in my third trimester myself, and these are things that have been on my mind a lot lately, just trying to make sure that my baby is head down and in a good spot for labor. So first of all, why does this matter? Well, if baby is in a good spot in that LOA or that ROA position, meaning that baby is left occiput anterior or right occiput anterior, their head down and their spine is on the front of the pelvis, right? If baby is in that good spot, maybe it can help to influence your labor. Maybe it can shorten out that labor time. Maybe it can make sure that you don't have back labor. Maybe it could just make sure that baby has the ability to go through the pelvis the way that they need to go through the pelvis. All good things. Maybe it just like helps you get baby head down if you really want to make sure that you have baby head down at the end of your pregnancy. And just a disclaimer, as a physical therapist assistant, physical therapy, it is not within my scope to say, hey, I am for sure going to get the fetus in the right size. That is not within my scope, right? But with what is within my scope is talking about, what is going on with the pelvis, how can we move the pelvis, and how does, the body work? So that way, hopefully we could just try to help decrease the amount of damage that you're having to your pelvic floor with your labor process. So a few things, baby's head and spine are heavy. Baby's head and spine are heavy. So that means that gravity is going to pull the heaviest part down. So if you are sitting a certain way, gravity is going to pull baby's head and spine towards that way if you do that over an extended period of time. And this is why whenever somebody has a breached baby, for example, they do the spinning babies technique, and they have very specific moves that they do to try and get that baby's head and spine to move the way that we want it to. Like I mentioned, we want baby to be in that LOA or that ROA position, right? Baby's head and spine are heavy. And so we can do things like leaning forward, right? We can lean forward so that way baby's spine will go to the front of your uterus. So this would be like your back right here, right? And you just let your belly hang out like that. That will help baby's spine go forward, which we would want. And then the other thing is that if we avoid deep posterior pelvic positioning, meaning that if we avoid deep, just like reclined spots, that'll help baby's spine not be at the back of our spine. So if this is where your spine is at, then if you're always in a deep reclined position with your legs up and you're just chilling on your couch like that, then baby's spine is going to want to go along your spine. So we want to do these things to try and help avoid that. One thing that you often see too when people talk about baby positioning is that you see inversions, and the reason why that is because the uterus is going to connect right here, and the lower uterine ligaments can get really, really tight. So if we help to just go upside down, it allows those lower uterine ligaments to release, which allows baby to have more space to move head down. I also really, really recommend being upright as much as you can, going for walks, doing things where you just get to go walk for long distance after releasing those lower uterine ligaments, because that's going to help baby be in that head down position. Hopefully we can't always control it, but hopefully. Now, just a few disclaimers. If you have really high blood pressure, you should not be doing inversions at the end of your pregnancy. That already high blood pressure will increase when you go upside down. So I'm going to show you ways to not have to do that. And if you have really bad heartburn, this can also help out as well. Also, if you have a toddler, it's really hard not to be on the ground already. So I'm going to show you ways that you can try to carry around like a little stool to help, with the toddler situation. And then some women only find relief whenever they have swelling in their legs by sitting reclined, sitting in that deep posterior position, which is okay for a little bit of time. We just maybe want to avoid it for a long period of time. So if you have that deep swelling or that big swelling and it feels so good just to have your body recline with your legs up, I'll show you another way to allow that swelling to go down while still being in a good spot. So first, let's go over some inversions. I'm going to start off with the most drastic one and kind of work my way down from there. The one that we commonly see popular online is going to be hanging off the edge of your bed or your couch and going down. You can go down to your forearms, and this will feel the most relieving through the lower uterine ligaments. Sometimes it can feel a little bit too intense if your pelvic floor is really, really tight. It can also feel really intense through the shoulders for a long period of time. I really recommend pushing your forearms down into the ground, so that way it feels like your shoulder blades are moving towards the ground and you're almost kind of lifting your chest away from the ground, and that can help to release some of that tension in your shoulders. And if you feel like that's too intense, you can also do like a little bit of a down dog variation where you have your hands down out in front of you, but your knees are on your couch. You can hear my nose getting a little bit stuffy as I go upside down. So that is inversion number one. Another option that you can do is I took these little cushions from my son's little play couch. You could just take cushions off of your regular couch as well. And you can do the same thing, just going off of this couch, these little cushions instead, where you're not on as high of a surface. And then you can go down. And so you can kind of like work your way up to being up higher. So maybe you can start off with like just one cushion, then two cushions, and then going on over to the full couch or your full chair. Other options, it can feel really good just to kind of hang down towards a surface, towards a lower surface, to kind of let those lower uterine ligaments hang. Or you can do a little bit of like a down dog situation where you're in this down dog position right here. Or you can even do like a little puppy pose. And this one's personally my favorite, one that I did often during my last pregnancy, where I would grab a few pillows and I would just get down onto the ground and turn on a TV show and just watch it. And so from the side, I'm just in this nice little relaxed position, and you just get to stay here and relax. And you're still pushing your forearms down into the ground. That way it feels like your upper back is rounding. That way it relieves some of that pressure in your back. Now what happens if you can't do some of those inversions and you just want to get the belly forward and try to release your lower hip? So you can lean on your ball. My belly's forward here. It feels even good to have like knees in, feet out. And you can rock side to side or go back and forth. Just do whatever feels good for that. Or you can go ahead and put one leg back. It is a little bit harder to do this on the ball. It requires more stability. So if that's a little bit too much, you could just be here. I'll let that ball go over there. You can just be here. And then you can rock your leg back and forth just to release those lower uterine ligaments some. You can even like lift up your leg if that feels good, if you don't have any pain whenever you do that. Just to try and release the front of that lower belly. You can even hang off of like a table or off of your couch, even off of your bed. You can just hang like this. If you're on your bed, obviously the bed would be a lot higher. You can just rest your elbows, arch your back a little bit, and just, you know, look at your phone or read a book or something while you release that lower belly. Now let's talk about laying on your side. So rather than sitting on your couch and sitting reclined like so, you can either lay down on your couch, and you could do one of two things. You can bring your knee up as high as possible and put your other knee on top of it and allow your body just to kind of roll forward while you watch TV or just kind of relax. Or you can go ahead and let your leg hang off the edge of the couch. So that way it's really enforcing that baby to go forward. The other thing is that if you really just want to sit upright and you're like, I really just want to sit upright, you can go ahead and sit up and put pillows behind your back. So that way you're nice and stacked up, and make sure that your hips are not below your knees. You want to make sure, because it puts you in that posterior position, you want your hips to be a little bit up higher than your knees. So you can go ahead and sit down on like a pillow and then have something behind your back, and now you're in that nice neutral position while you're not sitting reclined and you don't have to lay down. And then what if you're like me, you already have a toddler, or what if you have a job position where you have to get down quite a bit? You can go ahead and grab one of these little foldable stools that I'm sure that you have or have seen. And rather than sitting on the stool where you're in like a deep squat position like this, because then you're in that more posterior position, instead you can kind of straddle it so that way your knees are down like that. Right? So now I'm not in that super deep position. My hips are still opening up. If you are like a teacher or something, it's still a little bit hard to do that. So what I would do instead of like squatting down deep like this all the time, what I would do instead is try to go ahead and have like one leg down, other leg up. So that way you're still opening up the front of the hips. And again, it's not the end of the world if you can't, do these things. If you have to be in these positions for a little while, that's totally okay. You just want to do things afterwards, whenever you get home or at the end of your day, to try and counteract that. That's kind of like the best thing. Like, live your life, be comfortable, and then make sure that you're also doing other stuff too to just get baby to go in that LOA or that ROA position. So I hope that was helpful. I'm completely out of breath demonstrating all of those. But yeah, again, we can't really predict what baby is going to do, but maybe we can at least try to do what we can to help baby be in a good spot, just to get into that good spot where they can do those nice, good rotations through the pelvis. So I hope that was helpful. Go ahead and like, comment, share, follow. I can see you over on my TikTok. And if you have any ideas that you want me to kind of put out there for pelvic health, go ahead and let me know. And I hope you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.